Hello, and welcome to Patriots Colony, Taiji and Qigong at home, accompanied by my producer-director, Leo, there. We're going to do it a little differently today. It's just something we've done in class before. Hi, my name is Stan Rockwell. We're going to do it sitting in a chair. So find yourself a chair that doesn't have armrests because we're going to be hanging our arms down a little bit. And one that fits you pretty well so your back can be straight, 45-degree angles at your hips and knees. If you're like me with really long legs, sometimes that can be hard to find something like that. There are days when, because of illness or injury, standing for half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour can be difficult. And there are times when you just don't have a lot of room to move around, or you're in a place where it would be really difficult to do this standing up. So all of these movements that we do, or most of these movements we do, can be adapted to a seated position. You can use visualization too if there's anything that you can't do. Remember that 70% rule, you only do 70% of whatever you're capable of at this moment, and you visualize it the rest of the way. The same principles of posture, balance, and breathing apply sitting down as they do standing up. So remember that ba wei, or crown chakra, just behind the center of the top of the head, that last part of your skull that hardens up after you're born. You visualize a line attached there pulling you straight up, and as it does, again, it makes you taller from the hips up. Stacks your vertebrae on top of each other. Get your head nice and balanced on your shoulders. The back of your head may rise up a little bit, and your chin may tuck in a little bit to move your head back, so your head's well balanced on your shoulders. I think this is a particularly important part because oftentimes we'll have our heads tilted to one side or tilted forward, especially when you drive. You may notice your head goes forward, you get tensed, and your shoulders may go up, and you wind up with aches and pains and sometimes headaches and wonder why. And a large part of it is your body mechanics. So that's one of the things I encourage folks to do is just over the course of a day, check out your posture, and especially if you have your head nice and balanced on your shoulders. It's a great way to reduce pain, and physical pain has an emotional component to it. The same part of our brain is involved with both physical and emotional pain. So when one is activated, oftentimes the other is as well. You also want to have yourself in alignment from the hips down. So there's that right angle at the hips, right angle at the knees, and knees and feet are the same width as your hips. So your feet aren't in like this, they're not out like this. And one thing you really don't want to do is cross your legs. If you go to get your blood pressure taken, or you take your blood pressure, an experiment you can do is take it with your legs nice and in alignment like this, and then take it with your legs crossed. And you typically, blood pressure is about 10 points higher with your legs crossed. It varies from person to person and time to time, but it does increase your blood pressure. So have yourself nice and balanced in all directions as you're sitting. You can have your hands on top of your legs, on your thighs, or you can have them hanging down. Either way is okay. We're going to vary it as we go through this. In all the meditation classes, yoga classes I've had that were taught in a seated position, when you have your palms up, and if you have your thumbs touching your fingertips like that, this tends to open up the shoulders a little bit, and it's more of an energizing kind of posture. When you turn your hands over, there's a slight difference, but your shoulders come in just a little bit, and that's more of a relaxation response. And remember with this too, you want your shoulders parallel to the floor and also relaxed, so you're not pulled back, you're not slouched forward, they're not up around your ears, they're just relaxed down the center line. And you focus on your breathing then. You inhale through your nose down to your diaphragm, and again, you feel an expansion around here. And one way that being in a chair can help is it gives you more of a sense of where your body is in space than when you're standing up sometimes, because you get the feedback of how your body fits against the chair, how the chair feels against you. So as you inhale, you feel your lower back pressing into the back of the chair. And when you exhale, it moves away. So remember, we're breathing down here through our abdomen. As you inhale, you pull the pelvic floor down, the diaphragm down. And on the exhale, you just pull that pelvic floor up. You move as much air out as you can. You breathe at your own pace, making the exhale last just a little bit longer than the inhale. With that sound as you exhale, you can visualize any tightness, any tension that's inside your body just flowing out and away from you and just letting go. So just breathe at your own pace. And as you do, if you feel any tightness, any tension across the top of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your ears, your jaw, just breathe into it and let it soften. Down into your neck, your shoulders, your arms, down to your wrists, your hands, your fingers, you just breathe into it. Soften it. In your chest, your stomach, your back, just let it all soften. Into your hips, your legs, your ankles, your feet, your toes. If there's any tightness anywhere, just let it soften. And just pay attention for a moment to all the muscles in your face. If you feel any tightness, any tension anywhere, just let it soften and let it relax. Just bring your hands up. We're going to start with just an open and close. It's a way to, again, bring in that relaxation response. So you visualize like you have a big ball of energy here that's trying to expand. As you inhale, you're still trying to press against that ball of energy. You exhale, press it in, but it's still resisting. So the movements are slow and fluid, like you're moving through a gentle resistance, like you're moving through water. It's an inhale and an exhale. Let your arms come back down. Let your arms float up with your palms facing. Turn your hands so your palms are facing towards you. As you press in, you drop the elbows, you press your head back a little bit so you feel some stretch in your neck. You turn your hands and you press out. As you do, you feel your arms lengthen out. All the joints, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, they just expand outwards. Remember that principle of Song, the yin-yang of expansion and contraction. But again, you keep some softness in your elbow. You don't fully extend so you lock your elbow joints. You keep softness there. As your hands come back down, you tuck your chin just a bit to feel some stretch in the back of your neck. You inhale all the way up. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. We'll do one more. Back to the center. Second for your neck, your arms come up with your palms facing again. Let one hand drop down so the palm is facing towards the floor, but you've got some bend in the wrist. And that bend in the wrist is going to activate an acupressure point in your wrist. Other arm folds over so the center of the palm, that Laogong point where your fingers touch your palm, lines up with that upper dantian or that third eye from yoga. Shoulders nice and relaxed up here. This is another one that's really good to do sitting in a chair because you can tell if you're moving anything besides your arm and your head. Because you're going to turn your head to the side of the upraised arm, 70% of your range of motion. And everything else stays still. You come back to the center. Lower arm comes up, palms face briefly, and then they trade places. You go to the other side. It's an inhale to the center. And exhale to the side. So inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And as your arms come back down, exhale down. Relax your shoulders. Turn your head to one side, either side, it doesn't matter. Drop your chin, let it roll across the bottom. You come back to that center line, you go straight across. Exhale across the bottom. Inhale across the center, so exhale. And inhale. Turn to the other side. Back to the center. Next couple are for your shoulders. And remember, if you have issues with rotator cuffs, you just rotate your arms so your palms are facing right behind you. And then you can just make circles with your elbows to move your shoulders around without putting any stress on your rotator cuffs. And again, stay in your comfort zone. If you can't smile when you're doing it, back off till you can. So we'll start off just rotating the shoulders towards the front. And then we'll rotate towards the back. And then we'll let our arms float up. First, the palms face down. They turn to face up. They fold over and face diagonally down towards you and press down. It's an inhale and an exhale. Come back to the center. I'm going to do, again, some more for the shoulders, the upper back, the upper chest. So let your arms come up with your palms facing, fingertips point straight up. You bring your arms in so your palms and your forearms are touching. If that causes you issues with your shoulders, you can just bring your elbows up and do it like this. You just visualize that your arms are touching. But you inhale as your arms come out. Exhale when they come back. So it's an inhale. And exhale. Back to the center for the elbows. You just extend your arms out. And again, you keep some softness in the elbows. Bring your hands back towards your shoulders, but you don't fully compress. Again, there's softness in the elbows. Extend out. Inhale back and exhale out. Inhale and exhale. Hands come back, your fingers are pointed straight up with some bend in your elbows, just like about a 45-degree angle in each one. And just let your hands tilt towards you and away from you. Loosen up the wrists a little bit. And then towards and away from each other. And in circles one way. Then the other way. You fold your fingers over, your thumbs on the outside, so you have nice soft fists that come to rest near your hips, front of your hips, on your thighs. For the fingers, you reach out as you do. It's to punch. You rotate the arm for that torque. Open your hand. You let all the joints expand outwards, and then just curl your fingers back in, turn the fist and pull back. It's an exhale. And an inhale. Now this is the soft version of this, just as there's internal, external martial arts, meaning soft and hard martial arts. There's hard and soft versions of Qigong. And this is the soft version. Hard version, a few years ago, I got to meet some visiting monks from the Shaolin Temple who were here to do Kung Fu demonstrations. And that's a hard martial art. So if they were doing this, they would put you out and visualize having something that they can squeeze in their hands. So it's like you're squeezing that in. If that causes you any issues, you don't do that. But for this one, you're trying to increase the strength in your hands. Again, you don't bring your fingertips all the way into your palms. And you can actually use something like a squeeze tool or a rubber ball. But again, you're working on increasing the strength in your fingers and make it a little easier to open those bottles that have those tops on them that are so hard to open. You really feel the muscles tensing up when you do it that way. And you just relax your hands. Bring your hands so they're either resting on your thighs or they're a little bit above, about belt high. When you inhale, you visualize your fingers stretching out. When you exhale, they just come to rest. So again, it's that principle of song, expansion, contraction, yang, yin. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Just relax your hands. Check your posture again. I know when we're seated, and we've mentioned before, starting at about the age of 7, our posture starts to go downhill, whether we're standing up or sitting down. And oftentimes chairs, the backs will be tilted back, so we tilt back in it, or we slouch down, or we lean forward. And whenever we're doing that, we're getting our bodies out of alignment with gravity, which puts a lot of stress on our bodies. Remember, for every inch or so, your head's out of alignment, whether you've got to tilt it this way or this way, especially this way towards the back and really this way towards the front. Putting a lot of tension on your neck, your shoulders, and your back. It adds about an extra 10 pounds for every inch of alignment. So a 10-pound head, an inch forward is going to feel like it weighs about 20 pounds. So when you're seated like this, if you drop that line from the body straight down through the middle of your body, through the perineum, you aim for it to hit in a perpendicular line right below the perineum. So you're in harmony with gravity, and you've got a central axis running down the center of your body that we're going to be turning on in a moment. First, we want to loosen up some muscles in the back, so you're holding a ball. The upper arm, the elbows drop lower than the shoulders, so it's not up here like this. That puts a lot of stress on your shoulders, and if you're doing a pushing exercise, it's not very powerful either. Drop down here, it's much more powerful and a lot harder to try to push you around. So if you have it drop down, you automatically increase your strength with softness. Turn your lower hand out, start to press up, upper hand presses down. Again, you don't fully extend. You inhale to the center. And exhale, and inhale. You feel some stretch in your back when you do this. You also feel how the muscles in your back move with your back against the chair. In Qigong, when the right hand goes up, it's massaging the liver meridian. When the left hand goes up, it's massaging the spleen meridian. You can do a little bit of a twist if you want to increase that. But for this one, we're really just focusing on the back. Come back to the center. This next one, I really learned how to do in a skillful way and discovered I hadn't been doing it exactly skillful. When I was at a workshop and they had us do these sitting down, because if you remember, this next one is the side-to-side movement where you're just turning from the hips up, so everything from the hips down stays still. I notice a lot of people, when they do this standing up, they still turn their whole bodies. And when you do that, you put a lot of stress on your knees. So if you're doing it standing up and you turn your whole body, you really have to bend your knees and move your hips back like you're about to sit in a chair. For this one, you can tell when you're sitting in a chair, I've got this hand on top, so I'm going to turn till my hands are lined up with the hip on that side. And nothing from the hips down is moving at all. Turn the hands around, keeping the palms facing with those logon points lined up. Turn to the other side. Turn the hands around. If you want, you can synchronize your breathing so you're inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other. And just remember to breathe. Back to the center. Put your hands out to one side like you're going to press into a wall. And if you remember when we've done this standing up, this is the one where you shift all your weight into the foot on the side where your hands are pressing the wall and the other foot just reaches out a little bit, and it's for your hip. When you're seated, you just tilt your knee out. And you again feel some movement in your hip. Come back to the center. Now, if you've had hip surgeries, hip replacements, any kinds of issues with your hips, again, stay in your comfort zone. Do whatever it is your doctor or your physical therapist's guidelines are. Just visualize. Out to the other side as you exhale. Inhale to the center. Back to the center, let your hands drop down like your palms are resting on a very low table or a very low railing. And if you remember when we're standing up, this is the one where your hands go back and you swing your leg forward or move your leg forward. Hands go forward and the leg goes back behind you, but you stay balanced over the leg that's bearing your weight. When you do this seated, your hands go back a little bit. You bring one knee up, foot off the floor. Hands go forward and you just press down. You don't have to press down very hard. You don't have to lift the chair off the floor. And again, you synchronize your breathing so you're inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other. And we'll just move right on over to the other side. Again, the fingertips trail with this. It's like you're moving your arms through water. Come back to center, those soft fists at your hips. If you remember when we do this standing up, it's where you have your toes pointed towards the corner and you punch and you reach your leg out for the first one, and then with the opposite leg, and you go into a bow and arrow stance for the second one. But when you do this seated, you do it as kicks. And first you kick with your heel, and second you kick with your toes. So we're going to start off, this hand's going to punch, so this leg's going to kick, and it's a heel kick. And again, you keep bending your knees. So you're not locking that joint when you kick. You keep it nice and soft. Come back to the center. Now is the toe kick, and just pay attention to how different the muscles in your leg feel when you lead with your toe versus your heel. So we come up and we toe kick. Again, keep that softness in your knees. Exhale and inhale. just come back to center and check your posture, your breathing. And then moving on to the ankles, it's just a heel and toe. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll do outside, inside the foot as close to the same spot as you can to try to loosen up the ankles a little more. Same thing other side. And then being very gentle with your knees and hips, ankles, you make circles first in one direction, in the other direction. Same thing on the other side. And then reverse. And then just relax. One of the forms that we learned in our lab class was a beginner sun style form that Paul Lam created called Tai Chi for Arthritis, but his initial teaching that he put out, it was actually Tai Chi for lower back pain. But they discovered it was helpful with actually pain in general. And because of the way you breathe, also for help with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So if you have issues with breathing, one way to improve that is to focus on that abdominal breathing that we do, focus on your posture, use that diaphragm for breathing instead of the muscles in your upper chest. It really reduces stress and improves your breathing ability, and also lowers your heart rate, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, all those good things we've talked about before. They also, in one of the classes for trainers I went to a couple years ago, the teacher works at a rehabilitation facility, and they use this seated version to help with strengthening the hips for people who, for whatever reason, had issues getting up and sitting down in chairs and who almost couldn't get out. They use some of these exercises to help strengthen the hips. So we're going to give this one a go for a few minutes. You let your arms come up, palms facing, just follow me. Drop the elbows down, and don't worry about right or left. It doesn't matter. Bring your hands in towards your waist. They come up the front of your body till your hands are about even with your shoulders. You reach out again. You drop back. And then we open and close like we're doing a little bit ago. We'll do that a couple more times. We inhale. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Next movement, you just turn towards one corner, either corner, it doesn't matter. Extend your arms a little bit, turn your palms out. Hand on the side that you're facing just goes a little ways. The other hand goes all the way across, and your eyes follow that hand. So if we do open, close, you turn towards the corner, extend your arms, hands separate, and like they're parting a curtain, this is just called single whip. Open, close, single whip. You can also involve the feet with this. So as you turn, you can press in with this foot. When you look, you press in with this foot. But again, whichever one feels most natural for you, go with that. Think of yourself as playing jazz. You learn the principles of posture, balance, and breathing, but you can improvise, and you can still play the music. You can still do the form. Come up at the beginning, down, hands come in, they come up the body, they reach out, come back, open, close, turn towards the corner, extend your arms, turn your palms out. And the next one is one called wave hands like clouds. So I'm pressing with this foot on this side so I can bring this hand over till the fingers are near the elbow. Then I'm going to press in with the foot on the side where my hands are. They help me turn towards that other corner. So I'm alternating the foot that I'm pressing. So if I'm going to go in that direction, I'm going to press with this foot so the hands go across. And you might feel it in your hips. This is one of the main ones that was involved with loosening up the hips and getting things moving. You can do this for as long as you want. Make it meditation if you want. When you're doing the form, you just do it 3 times. Nice thing about doing it sitting down, you can focus on the arms and hands. With this, you're focusing a little bit on shifting your weight from one side to the other by pressing in on the floor, but you don't have to worry about where your feet are going. You don't have to worry about balance so much, except how you're balanced in the chair. Back to the center, open, close. Going to turn to the other corner this time. Look in the other direction. And then we're going to wave hands. Again, pressing from side to side. When you're twisting like this too, you're doing a little bit of what we talked about before of silk reeling. Massage those internal organs, get everything moving through like it needs to. Loosening up any adhesions that might be there. Back to the center, open, close. Let's do it one more time. Nice and relaxed. Let your arms float up with your palms facing. Elbows drop, fingertips trail as the hands come straight down and they start to veer coming in towards your waist. They get almost to you, they start to rise up. They get to your shoulders, you reach out. You come back, open, close. Turn towards the corner, arms go out, palms go out. Single whip. Wave hands like clouds. Back to the center, open, close. Turn towards the other corner, you're pressing in with the foot on the opposite side. Press in with the foot on this side as you look to the other side. Press in with this foot to bring any foot back. Wave hands like clouds. Upper hand is just below eye level. I know in the angle of the camera it looks like I'm covering my eyes, but they're really down about this level. Open, close. Bring your hands out, let them come back down. But again, if having your hand up a little higher feels better for you, go with that. There's no judgment. Nobody's scoring points on anything. Upper hand is yang level, giving energy out. Lower hand is yin hand, bringing energy up from the earth. Again, this is a nice meditation movement, and this is a nice meditation movement that we often use with folks who had issues with anxiety. Just as a moving meditation, standing or sitting. Just remember to breathe, so it's an inhale and an exhale. Come back to center. Make sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Bring one leg up, drop your hand on it. Come back down. Same thing other side. Just trying to loosen up things a little bit more. And then we're going to tighten everything up a little bit on the inhale. And then you exhale, let everything loosen, everything soften, everything relax. And one of the ways that people learn a relaxation response is to learn the way the muscles feel when they're tensed versus when they're relaxed. Really simple one you can do. We'll do in a moment. Inhale. And exhale as everything relaxes. Inhale and exhale. Bring one hand up, either hand, it doesn't matter. Make a fist. As you squeeze that fist, you visualize all the tension in your body. Give it whatever color you want. You have it as a liquid just flowing into your hand that you're tensing up. And just breathe. Then you tense that hand a little more. Let more, again, stay in your comfort zone. Don't hurt anything. But you let more of that tension just flowing down to that hand. And then one last time, let it all flow in there. And just relax and breathe out. Hand opens up, fingers face towards the floor. All that tension just flows out of your fingertips down into the earth. It flows into the earth and away from you. So your body has relaxed, but ready. Gonna balance everything out at the end. So you inhale on the way up, palms face down, they turn to face up. Exhale. We'll do two more. The last one. Thank you for joining me, Patriots Colony. Stay safe. Be well. Take care. Hope to see you again next week. Bye-bye.